sleep, get when our eyes weep, feeling of emotion to this life we're devoted like a shepherd and sheep that's deep as the sea, always overcoming and bridging the gap in between, and on the same page, only a few. Everyone's got their own books to choose. There's some reasons for the seasons changing, times keep rearranging, keep the pages turning from the modern to the ancient, and patience a virtue, use it to break through, chilling out, and our way out past curfew. These books are overdue, seeking the same cycle to reach success. If there's nothing back, for too long, and our people getting shut down.
Let me turn this off.
It's time to rise up now.
Woo! Having fun, having fun. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Let me turn that down so the let me turn off. Good afternoon, good afternoon. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Tender and Heart? That is the groove. I'll send it to you, bro. That was the groove. I don't own the rights to that music because they'll mute you if you don't say it. I've been muted. But you can't shut me up. Hey, Sherry. Mama Sherry. There we go. Okay, cool. This is going to be real short and sweet. Super short and sweet. I got a little book by Louise, I think is her name, Hay. I had another book by Louise Hay that deals with affirmations, and it links thoughts to everything. If you're dealing with anything, it's any type of anything, and she links these certain illnesses, certain diseases. I mean, it's all in there. Worry, teeth problems. I mean, you name it, and she links it to a limiting thought. So, and then she gives you the affirmation, the alignment, the correct thought, you could say, or the true thought. But there's this morning I was talking to Josh. Me and Josh works with me, and we were riding together today, and we were talking, and we started talking about all these things we have been taught. And, you know, we now know that, you know, when you were in your mother's womb, all the way till 6 or 7, they say, maybe 8, your brain waves are you're in a hypnotic state. And so you're being taught by your environment. So the house you grew up in, the school you went to, the church, all that stuff, whatever it was, that was teaching you. So, you know, that's why, like, it's very hard to break out of certain patterns because you were actually programmed, hypnotized to think a certain way. You were taught, and I think, I am. I think I am. That's a very profound, very deep, but simple statement. I think, therefore I am what I think. And because you were taught, therefore you thought, therefore you were. Always talk about, well, they and them, so, you know, they're programming us. Well, first off, who is they? They're conditioning us. Who is they? You know, some people say there's this elite group of people that have had this knowledge for years and years and years, and it goes way back. It's in the Bible. That's why Mark 7:8, it says, it basically what it says is you sent away the commandment of God. You neglected God's commandment, and you clung to, you found strength in the traditions of men, the things you were taught, the teachings that have been handed down generation after generation after generation after generation. So we were taught, and we thought who we were. You were taught everything. Everything. A stop sign's a stop sign. We were taught separation. We were taught, and because we were taught that we're supposed to die. Guess what? You were taught, so you thought, therefore you are. You die. We were taught that disease and sickness is natural, that we're supposed to get sick. We're supposed to have dis-ease. And basically what in Mark 7:8, what it says though, is that you sent away God's inward purpose and aim, hanging on to the teachings that have been passed down by men. And then, over there in Romans, I think it's 5:20 or 5:12, it says that by one man, this sin, what we have been taught sin was and thought it to be, entered the world, and death through that. So everything that you've been taught, everything, you were taught who you were, but you cannot be taught externally who you are. That's another person. We are so unique. You are such a unique expression of the one and only being, Allah, who most call God. Jesus would have called God Allah. Aramaic means the one and only being, expressed as many. So, but because each one of us are such a unique expression of the one, you cannot learn who you are from the teachings of men. That's why it's important to point people inside. That's why I tell people your questions that you have are not for me, because I can't answer them. I can answer them on what I have learned and what I've heard. Your questions are a very divine invitation from your higher self, your true self, which is within you and is you. The I within the I. The individual I is the one that you have been taught and that you have thought yourself to be. And because I think I am, what I have been taught and what I have thought is what I have been. You catch what I'm saying here? As a man, as a person thinks, so will they be. So will your reality be. So whoever they is and whoever came up with this strategy to program and condition the freaking world and to keep you all in your own little, keep us feeding the system, because that's all we've been doing. If you think you're supposed to get sick, and we've been taught that, so we do. If you think you're supposed to die, and we've been taught that, so we do. If you think that you're supposed to have dis-ease, and it's supposed to manifest in many different ways, such as cancer and all the other things, then it will happen. And who benefits from us being poor, not strong, not being able to, not tapping into what the Gospel of Thomas teaches, not tapping into the inward aim and purpose of Allah, God? Who benefits from us being sick? Who benefits from us thinking we can catch a virus, a pandemic? A virus is produced from within. Your own cells produce it. But who benefits from all that? Who is the they that continues to program and condition people? It's a good question. I don't know. But either way, whether it's supposed to happen or not, it's happening. And now we're realizing, we're waking up. Okay. This is why, I talk about when you can't. It's okay as we're learning to categorize certain things. Well, that's an anxious feeling. What thought was attached to that? Or that's a sad feeling. What thought first came before I felt that? See, we touched the thought, therefore we felt that thought. It's like touching the wheel, I feel the wheel, or touching a cold ice, a cube of ice, I feel the cold ice. Well, you touch on a thought and you will feel that thought. If you grab that thought and entertain that thought, you will feel that thought. But because we are so freaking unique, okay, here's a good example. Here's how unique you are. No one has ever had a fingerprint like yours. And no one will ever have a fingerprint like yours. It's pretty unique. I would call that a Kainos creation. There's never been another, nor will there ever be another like you. You are a super duper, you're a protocol. You are a super duper unique, special expression of the one sent here to be that unique expression. Not what someone else has taught you and what you have thought yourself to be. That's the individual I that thinks is separate. An individual, separate. And every time we even think about it, it's so ingrained in us. It's so ingrained in us, in good and bad, weighing and measuring, separating. I'll tell you how another way how unique you are. No one has an eye like yours. The color, the shape, the different colors in there. No one. And no one ever has, and no one ever will. No one has your exact skin color. No one. And no one ever has, and no one ever will. No one has your exact sound and voice. No one ever has, and no one ever will. So do you think that the teachings that have been handed down from men and what we have been told is supposed to be, and what we have thought is supposed to be because we were told and we were taught, and it has been? So do you think that anyone could ever teach you the very unique expression that you are? No. 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 You can only encounter that and experience it. And the more you encounter that, which you are and have always been, the more you experience it. And the more you experience it, the more you feel it. And the more you feel it, the more you believe it, because it's naturally who you are. And the more you believe it, the more you think about that which you have always been, that unique expression. And the more you think it, you are. I think I am. So when I was a kid, I remember now. I forgot for a long time. I totally forgot. I have been brought back through visions and dreams. I have re-experienced things. I have seen it all over again as if I was there still. When I was a child, I remember hearing from the inside, the inward aim, the inward purpose, moving by intuition, moving from the inward promptings only. I would be told things. I could sense things so clearly as a child. I remember it. Don't go that way. Go that way. Don't go with those kids today, Alec. Stay here. There's something, there's something that's not going to serve your greatest good if you go. But I don't remember ever being taught that's how I was supposed to live. And that's what I was supposed to listen to. See, from a young age, we're taught we're supposed to listen to the teacher, one person, to the preacher, one person, to the president, one person, to the news caster, the media, to the weatherman, one person. Thank God we're now starting to teach people to listen to their heart inside. That's all we're supposed to do, actually. Move and go and blow like the wind to the inward promptings. So how do we change this and shift this? I'm learning it takes practice. Because there's a lot of deep-rooted stuff in there. Like, here's a good example. When it's rainy outside, man, we got bad weather today. What do you mean? Weather's never bad. See, it's separating, weighing, and measuring, judging by what I've been taught. That's a tradition handed down by men, mankind. That is a tradition. That is a teaching that's been handed down that we must let go of. Whew, lights. What's another one? Oh, if you're at the beach and the water's not super clear, man, the water's nasty and ugly today. What do you mean? So only when it's clear, it's beautiful, pretty water? Come on, it's water. Oh, it sure is a nice day today. As if all days aren't nice. So what do we do here? What do we do? What do we do? When I become aware of the programming, we're learning to be led, from the inside. The five senses has been our teacher for a while. Right? We've been led from the external. So, and what we've been perceiving, because our thought energy is projected as an image or form before we ever even perceive it and judge it. And what we've been perceiving is from the past. It's a teaching. A tradition. You were taught, therefore you thought, therefore you were what you were taught and what you thought. So every time I become aware of this, here, the five senses, I sense something, I perceived it a certain way, and I sense it a certain way, so my brain is signaled, and then I react in a certain way. It works this way and this way. And it works whether you're aware of it or not. That's how you've been controlled. That's how you've been programmed and conditioned to feed the system that is, as you can see, is very broken and very unjust, right? It's had its fill. It is consumed and consumed and consumed and consumed. The current reality, the current world structure and world system is so fat it can't move anymore. It can't grow anymore. It's at its limit, just like the caterpillar. It's limited. It cannot fly. So all that has to be let go of so that we can liquefy, transparency, transitioning into who we've always been, the beautiful butterfly. But since you are a very unique expression, get what I'm saying here? You cannot be taught who you are, not that unique you, not that unique expression of the one that you are. So every time, we were always meant to roll by intuition, just like animals, to feel the vibrations and to move and flow. So every time, here's a practice that I'm doing. Every time I've categorized everything that is dis-ease as dis-ease. I'm uneasy. I think in A Course in Miracles, they call it upset. I'm uneasy. But my natural state of being, I know my natural state of being is one of rest, peace, tranquility, repose. But I've been taught and I've thought that it is something else. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming the household I grew up in. I'm not blaming the educational system, which is a setup too. The educational system teaches people to make bricks, like Israel did in Egypt. It teaches you to work a 9 to 5, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. It teaches you to work 40 plus hours. and to listen to one person and not to ask questions. See, it's conditioning. The medical system, the medical institution teaches you that you're supposed to get sick and you have to take medicine to heal. You've been taught that. Therefore, you have thought that. Therefore, it has happened that way. You were taught that you are supposed to die and you have to die in order to get to a superior place called heaven. But Jesus said the kingdom of God is here, within and without, now. What's that mean? Heaven is here, now, not later. This is not an inferior place. You were taught that your flesh, your body, the flesh is evil and wars against the spirit. No, you were conditioned that way. You were taught and you were thought that, therefore it was. The body has been leading you around because you were taught that. Here's a good example. If you grew up in a household where there was constant drama, Robert, what's up, brother? John, hey. If you grew up in a household where there was constant drama, yelling and screaming, that kind of thing, first off, your parents were taught that, and they thought that, therefore they were. That's all they knew. That's all they knew. No one ever showed them a different way. Or maybe they weren't open to it. And that's okay. It really is okay. But it's not okay anymore. Now that we know, it's not. It's not. So you grew up in that environment. It's a very stressful environment. First off, you were prepared for that environment before you came out of the womb because you were being taught in that place what you were coming into. See how early the conditioning started in the programming. It runs deep. We have been taught that we're limited. Therefore, we have been limited because we have thought we were limited. How can you limit an unlimited being? Is eternity unlimited? Infinite, eternal life, is that unlimited? Yeah. Well, how can you limit it? You have to be taught you're limited. You have to be taught you can't walk on water. You have to be taught you can't raise the dead. You have to be taught that you can't levitate. You have to be taught that you can't manifest things out of the air. You were taught you were limited. Therefore, you got all these limited thoughts and beliefs up in you. And I tell you, it's a damn shame. Most of it came from the church. And the governmental system, think about this word here, government. You know what a governor does on an engine? It holds back the power, the full potential and capacity of that engine. So if I govern my daughter's go-kart, she doesn't have a go-kart yet, she wants one. But if I put a governor on that go-kart, guess what? That go-kart's never going to run at its full capacity. You know what it says in the Bible? Till we all come to the knowledge of God, till we all come to the unity of the faith, till we all come to a complete mankind. You know what complete means? It means full capacity, operating at full capacity. Because we've been governed. Why? Because we wanted a government. They didn't have to have a king. They wanted a king to govern and rule. I have no idea why. That's a good question coming from inside me. See, those questions, if you have questions while I'm speaking, if something rubs you the wrong way, you get a check in your spirit, you know where to make that check out. I've said that one many times. Make it out to me. I'm partnered with an orphanage over in Kenya. If you get a check in your spirit, make it out to me. It's going there. We have a foundation. We have 45, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. They come, there's a lot of children there. We're digging a well. We got a vision that we plugged into actually the man on the ground's vision. So if you got a check, you can make that sucker out to me, and you better believe it's going right to the orphanage. So, where was I at? Oh, if you get a rub, if you get a check, what's happening is exactly what's supposed to happen. Jesus said, repent. He said, the kingdom is here. Repent so that you can believe this good news that I just told you. The kingdom is here now. That word repent, if you dig into it, it means go beyond your current understanding. Get outside your limited belief system. And remember what I just told you. What you have been taught and what you have thought is what you have been. Therefore, your belief system, what you've been taught, everything you've been taught, from your environment, from the church, from whatever you got taught from, has accumulated and it created your belief system. And your belief system has been your life, your reality. So when you get a check or you get rubbed, you're actually being stretched. You're actually being challenged. Your belief system is being challenged. But because your belief system is your life, you feel like your life is being threatened, and cognitive dissonance kicks in, and you react all pissed off and everything else. But if you know what's going on, you're actually being stretched to go beyond your current understanding so that you can receive this good news that we're in the kingdom now. So if you feel that way, there might be an offense there. But really what's going on there's a question underlying that limitation. And that question is an invitation from your higher self, which is your true self, which is the will within the will, the I within the I, which is God, which is source. And it's an invitation into a very intimate conversation that you're going to have with yourself. And through this conversation, you're going to gain a revealing, a revelation, which is an uncovering of the truth that's always been within you and is you. And ultimately, you're going to have an encounter and an experience with your true self. And remember, the more you encounter, the more you experience, the more you experience, the more you feel, the more you feel, the more you believe, the more you believe, the more you think, the more you are naturally who you've always been. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because I'm putting it down. I'm putting it down right now. So here's what happens. When I feel uneasy, and I don't care, you know what? I don't give a damn if you call it a work or what you want to call it. I don't care. Because it takes some work and some discipline. It does. Or I can just continue to run around complacent, hypnotized by what I've been taught by another person. I can continue to get sick. I can continue to get diseased. I can continue to walk around frustrated and irritated and pissed off at everything going on. Or I can take a hold of this thing and train this thing right here, the king that's sitting on the throne, my heart, and I can put off the vibration, sound, electromagnetic energies of God, consciously wielding the power of God, and create the reality, my life, that I was always meant to have, and I do have, because it's all been given to me. I can be the G-O-D, the generator, operator, director. You've been taught you weren't God. Therefore, you thought you weren't God. Therefore, you're not the God of your own life, because you're allowing the teachings of men to be your life, because you think what you've been taught. How about that? I know it's scary. It is. It's real scary to say, I am that I am. I am that I am. Be still. Be still and know. Why be still? Because that's your natural state of being. Rest, repose, peace, tranquility, joy, abundance. Natural. Why did Jesus talk about the birds and the lilies? Huh? Was a bird taught it was a bird? It doesn't reap nor sow. It doesn't store up. Everything's provided as needed. But we were taught that it's not provided as needed. And we got to get out there and get it. We were taught lack. You were taught it. You were taught how to be sick. You were taught it. You were taught it. So I've put it in two categories. Either I am at ease, or I get a feeling. Remember, the feeling came from a thought. Thoughts fire like electricity. The light is a manifestation of the power of the electricity. So thoughts fire as electrical light, and it moves as energy. Emotion, energy in motion, creates a vibration. Chemicals are produced in your body. You start to put off a sound because of the vibration. Remember, energy attracts energy too. Vibration like energy attracts like energy. So when you catch this, you're the one in control. You're the generator, the operator, the director. So when I feel uneasy, dis-ease, just to not be at ease. The manifestation of dis-ease is actually your body's doing everything it's supposed to do. The check engine light has come on. You got a flat tire. You got to get back. It started with the thought, though. How do I change my focus? How do I change my thought? Every single time I feel uneasy, every single time I'm not at rest, every single time I am diseased, I'm incoherent on the inside, I'm double-minded, I'm walking back and forth, to and fro throughout my earth, seeking who I can destroy. My cells are breaking down because I am diseased. My atoms, my molecules, everything that I'm made up of, they are constantly seeking stability, peace, and tranquility. And when they don't get it, guess what happens? When that environment is not peaceful and tranquil and stable, guess what happens? They break down into smaller forms of life. And we've called that decay, aging, getting weaker as we get older, deterioration. We've called it all that. But actually, you lack the very capacity to decay, break down, or deteriorate, or die. Because when the atoms break down into smaller forms of life where they find the peace and tranquility and stability, they don't die. It's just more life. So, two categories. Diseased or at ease. Diseased means not at ease. And to be at ease would be to be at rest. And to be at rest would be repose. And repose would be an extreme state of peace and tranquility, a meditative state. But you got to break through the conditioning. So when I become aware that I am uneasy, upset, and that could be anything. I could feel sadness, I could feel anxiety, I could feel depression, the other day I felt depressed. But you know what? Before I woke up, I started thinking about all the things I need to get done and what might happen if I don't get them all done. And I began to feel anxious. Well, where'd that anxious feeling come from? Well, do you think it came from the thought? Well, where'd the thought come from? Well, there's a lot of different theories on that, but the thought came from me. Maybe a memory, whatever. So when I feel diseased and I'm training my mind and I'm training myself to touch on the thoughts that serve my greatest good, what's a good practice for me? Well, first is to bring myself into a state of ease. How can we do that? Well, there's some little tricks that we can use. You can relax your head. If you relax your head, your body will follow. The body follows the head. You're the king, sitting on your throne, making declaration and proclamation by the vibration, your worship that you put off. And the kingdom aligns, giving you the reality that you have been thinking on. But if we've been conditioned, and we have, the media conditions you to think negative. That's why it only shows you negative stuff. There's an agenda for you to think a certain way, so they keep it in front of you. They know that through repetition, you become programmed. So, what do? Well, if you relax your head, your body will follow that relaxation. Relax it. Then, if you slow your breathing down, your body thinks it's in a peaceful, safe place. So it follows. If it thinks, signals the brain. Your brain thinks it's at peace and rest, therefore you are. Then I want to retrain. So what's something I've been focused on that serves my greatest good? This is where my imagination comes into play. I think about the reality that I have. I think about all the things I'm grateful for, and I don't just think about them, I imagine them. And I don't just imagine them, I fantasize on them. And what that means is I step into that imagination. I want to live on the water and have a nice house and a hammock and be able to fish and not work. Guess what I think about? All I want to do is travel around and teach people how to walk in wholeness and how to heal themselves. That's all I care about. The truth. So I think and I imagine and I see that and I feel that. I feel the breeze. I feel the hammock. I feel how peaceful everything is. I imagine it. I smell the salt water, the fish. Man, I touch it. I feel the grass. I feel it. I see it. I hear it. I hear the seagulls. I see myself in Africa. I feel the kids hugging on me. I see the new school, whatever. I'm training to only think on those things which serve my greatest good. That's ultimately what I'm doing. So I've put myself, I've encountered, I've experienced my natural state of being, which is repose. And now I am training this to think the way I want it to think. And because, listen, if you can be programmed and conditioned and controlled and taught how to worry and think that way negatively, you can also train yourself how to only think positively all the time. Why do you think Joel, what's his name, man? Joel, the big televangelist, the big preacher man. He only talked, man, listen to that dude. It's only positive. And look at his life. He's living what he wants to live, I believe. Now, I don't know him personally, but can't hate on him. So check it out. So here's what they know about your imagination. Joel Osteen, there he is. I love him. I used to hate on him when I was all religious. So listen. Your imagination, your brain, and your body does not know the difference between riding around in this car and what we call reality or a dream, which is the same as an image. It doesn't know the difference. They've done the studies. You can go work out in there, and you can also imagine you're working out with weights, and it has the same results. It's powerful. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful you are. Here's a good question. What is it that excites me? What is it that I'm passionate about? What is it that just fulfills everything and makes me the happiest? What is it that I love to do and I could never, if I could do it all day, every day, I could for eternities. What is that? You're probably already doing it and you're not aware of it. That is your uniqueness. Tap into that. Imagine that. See that. And then only think on that. Well, how do I only think on that? When you feel uneasy, go back and think on that again. Imagine, do it all over again until it just naturally is who you are. It works that way. In AA, I learned to pause and pray. Well, guess what? I first had to learn to pick the phone up and call somebody for help. And then I started picking the phone up so much, I would call my sponsor and say, every time I'd get uneasy and get rattled, I'd call him and like, man, I got this going on. I'd probably called him 10 times a day. I called him and blew him up. And you know what he would say? Did you pause? Did you pray? Did you ask God to remove that fear? Pause and pray. Well, guess what? It wasn't natural to me. I'd been taught another way. Therefore, I thought, that's what was going on. So guess what I had to do? I had to be disciplined and trained. But I needed the help of another man to help me. Because he'd say, okay, go pause, pull over, pray, call me back if you need me. Guess what? I never needed him after I paused and prayed. Eventually, it became a working, natural thing. I just flow in it. This works the same way. So try it out, but don't stop. Continue until it's just natural, till you don't even know you're doing it anymore. It's just, and you're encountering and you're experiencing and you're being led by your intuition. You're stopping, you're listening, you've become aware, you're out of the programming, and you're consciously wielding the powers, energies of God, which you are, your energies, your thought energy, emotions, feelings. This is how we operate. So take that, chew on it. If you have any questions, if you got a check, there's a question underlying that check. Remember, that question is an invitation. And that invitation is from you, your true self. And that invitation, you're being invited into a very intimate conversation with the one that you need to know the most, you. And in this conversation, you're going to get a revelation, your own custom-made revelation. Not mine, not another's, your custom-made revelation. And through that revelation, you're going to encounter yourself. And through that encounter, you will experience yourself. And through that experience of yourself, you're going to believe that is truly who you are. And when you believe that is truly who you are, you're going to feel. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel that true self. And the more you feel it, the more you think about it. The more you think about it, the more you know. The more you know, the more you be, naturally. Peace. Have a great day. Love you all. If you have any questions, message me. But then I'm going to teach you the art of questioning, how to contemplate, focus on, think about your questions until the revelation comes. This is how you stay in a stream of revelation too. You say, well, I don't have any questions. I say, yeah, well, do you have any problems? Does anything rub you the wrong way? There's a question under that. Have a good day. Peace.